Hey, what's up everyone? Another knife review of the Spyderco Sage Series. Obviously I'm missing the Sage 3, which is the blue G10 Blackie Collins bolt lock knife. I used to have that one. I tried it out and I wasn't a big fan of the bolt action, so I don't have it in my lineup here. But essentially it's the same. It's actually a little bit bigger handle and all that kind of stuff because they had to make a little bit of changes because of the structure of the bolt lock. But anyway, that aside, this is just a quick comparison of the Sage series against the Delica 4. And then you have the Spyderco Tenacious, very similar looking knife. Obviously it's missing the choil here, which is a big, I think, selling factor for the Sage series. And then again, the standard, the large Sebenza 21. Alright, so let me move these out of here really quick. The Sage series, if you don't know, if you haven't done the research, this is a knife series that Spyderco has been doing, and they started out, basically, they wanted to do a tribute to all the knife makers out there, especially ones who have contributed to designing knives as well as came up or invented different locking mechanisms for knives that are out there. And so they started out with the Sage 1 as a tribute to Michael Walker. So he's the guy who created the liner lock right there, and he enjoyed using carbon fiber apparently in his knives. So they they decked this knife out with carbon fiber. This is one of my few carbon fiber knives that I own, and this one in particular has that weave pattern, and it's just gorgeous. I love this carbon fiber pattern. Feels great in the hand. Serves as a kind of as a grip. It's not perfect, but it feels really comfortable in the hand. And because this carbon fiber makes this knife incredibly light. Obviously, it has steel liners because it's a liner lock. The Sage 2 then was a tribute to Chris Reeve. Everybody knows Chris Reeve in the knife community. If you don't, look him up. This guy is the epitome of amazing knife makers, I guess. And he's the creator of the frame lock. And so the Sage 2, in my opinion, is a great knife that uses the frame lock here, and they did a great job of implementing the frame lock into this Sage pattern and Sage design. Every Sage has a CPM S30V blade, so they're using good quality or good to high quality knife materials. I mean, S30V now is, I think, the industry standard. It's not as exotic as it used to be, for sure, but I think it's better, in my opinion, than 154cm and VG10 and that kind of stuff. But nowadays, they're coming out with M4 and M390 and S90V and all these other steels that are coming out. So CPM S30V, Spyderco's been using it forever too, in their knives. So it's nothing particularly special. So anyway, this blade stock as well, I think, is sub 3 millimeters. I want to say 2.5 millimeters maybe. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But it's for the knife this size. I think it is. It's a good thickness, and if you see my other reviews, I obviously like thicker blade stocks, but just because I like the durability of it. But this knife's not going to break under normal wear and tear and use. One thing I didn't mention on the Sage 2 is, Chris Reeve, obviously with his Sebenzas and his Umnumzan and all that kind of stuff, he loves using titanium. Frame locks are, I would say, meant to be used with titanium, and so this one, they use titanium for their materials, and it shows up in the price too, in terms of how they price these differently. And then the Sage 3's got the blue G10, and it's got the bolt lock that was made by Blackie Collins. A couple things to note as well on the Sage series, they use these wire clips, which I think are phenomenal clips. They're pretty strong. They're not gonna I think what was Cajun Blaze. He did a review, and I think he was talking about how he hooked this against a chair and this wire clip completely just bent out and all that kind of stuff. But in general, I think the wire clip is a superb clip. It's very, very low profile. It doesn't stand out in your pocket. And I don't know, some people love having that clip. I think that the Chris Reeve clip is probably one of the best clips out there. The Emerson clip I think is also pretty nice. It's strong and everything, and the parkerized black is nice. It doesn't wear and chip like a lot of painted clips. It's a little bit thicker, but this wire clip is strong, and it's, again, very low profile. These knives as well have the flow through design. Well, actually, that's not true for all the knives. The Sage 3 has a backspacer, and I think that's because they needed to house the bolt lock. But for these two designs, they have flow-through design, which I love. I think that's the best knife design. And these knives also are all made in Taichung, Taiwan. And I was saying in my other review about the Volatin, Spyderco Volatin, the Taiwan factory, they get the specs and they make it down to a T, and they're made beautifully. These knives are perfectly centered. The deployment is fast as all heck. You can flip either of these knives out super fast, and lockup is also perfect, side to side, nothing up and down, nothing. And yeah, so these things are built really, really well, extremely well. One thing that's really cool about these two knives that I did before was I don't know, maybe I'll make a video on it one of these days. There's already one that's out there. I think it's called Sage King or something. If you look it up, the dude had it on this little turntable, and he had the knives kind of spinning. But these scales are exactly the same in terms of size and width and everything. And so these screws, you can interchange these scales, so you can kind of make a semi Striderish, I don't know, but carbon fiber. You can have a carbon fiber and a liner lock thing with a titanium backside, or you can have a frame lock with a carbon fiber front side or whatever, and it looks pretty cool. Kind of just gives you a little variation, things to play with for these knives. But yeah, the other thing is these knives are also extremely thin, so they fit in your pocket extremely well. Like I said, I think I said this before, but these are perfect EDC blades in terms of the size and the just practicality and everything. I think these knives are awesome EDC blades. In fact, I use this carbon fiber blade as a gentleman's carry folder because of its size, sub 3 inches about, and the carbon fiber and the blackened clip I think works really well with suit pants or trousers or whatever. So the Sage series, I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with the Sage 4. I heard it's going to be lockback, which is my least favorite locking mechanism in terms of knives. So I probably won't go out and get the Sage 4. But again, depends on what it is. These are highly collectible, because it is a series, and Spyderco does a great job with these knives. So if you're looking for a small EDC carry, sub around 3 inches, I think it's sub 3 inches actually. These are perfect knives, especially in my neck of the woods. So yeah, definitely look into getting the Sage series. I don't know if they're ever going to be discontinued in terms of the older ones, so I would get out there and collect these up right now while they're still out there. The prices are very, very reasonable on these knives. This one definitely with the titanium frame lock is a little bit more expensive of the three, but I mean this one's at under $100. You cannot beat that deal ever. So anyway, check out the Sage series. Let me know what you guys think about these knives. There's tons of Sage reviews out there, so watch them and let me know what you guys think. All right, thanks guys. Bye.